Welcome back. Still watching Hot Commodities, and this is a segment where we put the spotlight on the currency, the Indian currency. Remember, the rupee had a weakish session of trade today. A flat picture across Asian currencies, along with strengthening dollar index, weighed on the rupee. That ended the day at 64.81 to the dollar. Abhishek Goenka is waiting by to talk to us. He's the CEO of IFA Global Commodities. Abhishek, good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us. What are your thoughts on the rupee 64.81? The medium-term level and also the short-term level you're watching out for?
I think it's broadly, all across the world markets, there's been overall a risk-on sentiment. The equity markets have been going up. India has been receiving a lot of inflows in debt and equity both, 10,000 crores in debt. The euro and the pound sterling and various currencies have been going up. Emerging market currencies have been improving. So overall, the sentiment is risk-on, because of which the rupee is also strengthened a lot. But at the same time, the oil prices are also going up. So that's one concern that India is having. So broadly, if you talk about the medium term, I think broadly rupee should take a very strong support close to around 64.30, 64.40 levels. On the higher side, I think 65.50 is what the levels are. So broadly in this 1 rupee range is what we're looking at rupee for the next 2 to 3 months, assuming that the Fed doesn't hike this year.
Abhishek, last couple of days, the FII buying has come back to Indian equity stocks, and of course, the FDI remains strong. In this light, do you see that the rupee may trade with a positive bias or strengthen from current levels?
I think I would see 64, 40, 50 as the base right now. This broadly, I understand that a lot of money has been pouring in, but then rupee has its own problems. So overall, it's been a depreciating currency, and I think that's likely to hold on. So I think any drops close to those levels should be a good buying opportunities for importers or people who want to pay long-term dollar loans, etc., in near term. So I think that should be a kind of base going forward, despite the flows.
Right. Abhishek, what are your thoughts on the dollar? In fact, if one were to look at the dollar index, it had weakened substantially in the last couple of days. Of course, in the last 2 days it has strengthened, but generally the trend is on the downside. Ever since the September data has been released, the jobs data in US, and more opinion is emerging that the Fed rate hike may be delayed to 2016. It seemed to have lost its mojo. Where do you see the dollar index head in the near term?
A very interesting observation, Ajay. In fact, even we were looking at the charts, and if you look at three major components which you need to see on dollar index, the Japanese yen and the European currency and the pound sterling, all the currencies are very, very close to their strong resistance levels. Even the euro went to 1.15, came down a little bit, and the GBP has been going out. So I personally feel that there is a possibility that in the next 2 to 3 months, we could see a lower dollar, looking at the charts and the index pattern, which you also noted. And then post maybe November, December, once the talks again starts happening on the Fed hike, then probably we could see a sharp reversal happening on the US dollar. But on the short term, when it comes to the dollar index or the international currencies, possibly we could see further weakening happening from the current levels.
Last time round, Abhishek, the sharp spike in dollar index actually happened when China chose to devalue their currency by 2%. In fact, all the emerging market currencies went into a tizzy. That situation seemed to have stabilized. But there is one school of thought among the strategists globally that perhaps one more devaluation move, however slim it might be, is still pending and may happen in the next couple of weeks or months. What are your thoughts on that?
You're right, Ajay. A lot of articles and a lot of thoughts have been on there in the market that 5 to 6% more devaluation can happen from the Chinese one, but it's anybody's guess, Of course, if any information like that happens or any kind of step is taken by the Chinese government, definitely what you said, history will repeat itself. But it's very difficult to say that when it's going to happen and in what shape and in what momentum the markets are likely to move.
All right, Abhishek, we'll let you go on that one. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today. In fact, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Hot Commodities. Thanks very much for watching.